Now, the first feature I'm going to show you is the whiteboard that we get with the screen. So we can swipe from the bottom of the screen down and we get access to two different whiteboards. We get access to a links whiteboard, which is more of an educational whiteboard when we need to create an account. We also get access to Note, which is more of a simplified whiteboard. It really depends on what you're looking to use the whiteboard for. This time I'm going to take you through the Note whiteboard, which is kind of more simplified and used just for quick annotations, sharing those annotations to your colleagues in the room and then closing the whiteboard down afterwards and wiping all the work that you've done on it previously. So at the bottom left side, we get a menu. If I tap on the menu, it gives me a few different options to open up new whiteboard files, to save the file, and in there it also gives me an option to import. So I'm able to import different, for example, PDF files. So I can plug a USB key straight into my display and it will allow me to bring in files from a USB key. I can also connect my cloud drive to the display. So as you can see, I have my Google Drive there connected at the moment. I can double tap on a certain file because I chose the PDF file option. It will only show me my PDF files and I can see the PDF file that's brought into the screen. Now I can move that PDF file around, I can resize it and so on. Afterwards, I can use my pens and I can annotate with those pens over that file in there as well. If I go back on the menu at the bottom left side, it also gives me an option to export. So I'm able to export my whiteboard as an image, PDF file, and so on. Under that, I get a theme. A theme is essentially my background of the whiteboard. So I can have like a line background theme, or I can also change the color of the background in there as well. Under that, we have some settings that we can go into and use as well on the screen. Now, once we're done using the whiteboard and we want to share the whiteboard to our colleagues in the room, a very useful feature is this share feature. This will allow us to scan the QR code and to save that whiteboard onto our own device. So as you can see, I just scanned the QR code and I can see the two different pages of my PDF files that I have on that whiteboard. So it's a great feature for collaboration where we want to share the files to our colleagues in the room after we're done using the whiteboard. Now, as I said, we have access to pens. Now, our screen will recognize whether we're using our finger, our sharp end of the pen, or a thin end of the pen. And it will also recognize if we're using the larger end of our pen as well. So the way that works is I can go on my finger option, for example. I can set it to kind of like a medium-sized pen, and I can set it to an orange color. Then afterwards, I can go to my thinner side of the pen. I can set it to a smaller kind of thickness of the pen, and we can set it to a pink color. And then for my larger end, I can keep it on kind of a thicker size of the pen, and I can change it to a black color. So now that means when I'm using my finger, it will recognize that I'm actually using my finger on the screen. So it will push out that color and that thickness that I set in those pen settings on the screen. It will also recognize when I'm using the thin end of the pen, and it will also recognize when I'm using the large end of the pen as well. So it's very useful to have different styles of pens, colors, and so on that we can use on the screen at the same time. Now, to delete anything off the whiteboard, we can hold our fists with our thumb towards us. It will recognize the side of our hand, and it will allow us to delete anything off the whiteboard itself. We can also use this eraser, and we can strike through different lines or there's an option that says clean all. This will allow us to wipe all the data that we've done on that whiteboard if we wish to do so. Next to that, there's a shape option. This will allow me to bring in a 2D or 3D shape onto the screen itself. And then in there, we also have a preview option. Now, the great part about this whiteboard is that we have an infinity whiteboard. So what that means is we can move around the whiteboard to the left, right, top, bottom side as much as we want, and we can move as far as we want as well. So what that means is I tapped on preview and now I'm able to move around that whiteboard as far as I want. So I can use my pen then to start annotating this part of the whiteboard. And if I double tap on that preview option, I can see my PDF file again and I can navigate to it by using the preview button. Now we also have a drawing option, which would be more for art classes. And then we also have an undo and a redo feature in there as well. We're able to create more pages by tapping on the add option at the bottom right side of the screen. And we're able to navigate around different pages by using our arrows as well. So that's how our whiteboard works. It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly easy to use, user-friendly. You can just come up to the screen, you can choose your pen, start using it, bring in your files and annotate over and around those files as well.